What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and we all know that in the Rise of Skywalker, J.J. Abrams decided to do a couple things that were in direct contrast to things that had happened in The Last Jedi. And a lot of people that are The Last Jedi fans, and they do exist out there, they were not very happy with that. Now, whether these changes were specifically to appeal to fans that did not like The Last Jedi, or whether they were J.J. Abrams giving a big FU to Rian Johnson for screwing up his entire storyline, I guess we'll never know until we actually hear something from him. But this article, I think that this is a little sketchy, but I do want to talk about it. It definitely looks like this happened. I haven't seen any confirmation of the Rise of Skywalker novelization, which I do want to see, but I'm not going to pay for that. However, let's go through this, and yes, it does appear to be the case. Star Wars, Endor was saved by Holdo Maneuver in The Rise of Skywalker. Yes, the Holdo Maneuver that we all complained about because it literally broke Star Wars and made you think, well, why couldn't we just do this for any situation ever? And it turns out that they decided to use it, even after explaining away that it was this 1 in a million shot, this thing that didn't make any sense, the way they tried to explain it away in The Rise of Skywalker, and they evidently did it anyway. Let's take a look at this article. The Resistance used the Holdo Maneuver during the big battle to save Endor in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Here's why that scene was a big deal. Rise of Skywalker featured the Holdo Maneuver in a scene that took place on Endor towards the end of the movie. The tactic was named after Vice Admiral Amilyn Holdo, Laura Dern, a character from The Last Jedi. Here's how it was used once again to fight the First Order and why it was so significant. Why did they use it? Doesn't make any sense. They went out of their way to explain why they shouldn't use it, yet they did it anyway. When the First Order attacked Resistance Navy in The Last Jedi, Vice Admiral Holdo made the brave decision, we know all about this, that she sent the Resistance cruiser Raddus at light speed and rammed directly through the Supremacy and several other ships in turn. The sacrifice cut the ship in two and presented a big enough distraction so her allies could escape. The Holdo Maneuver was a game changer in giving the Resistance a chance to fight another day. If it wasn't for Holdo's sacrifice first, okay, yes, we know. It was a game changer. Got it. During the war against the First Order in The Rise of Skywalker, the Resistance faced the threat of the Sith Eternal Fleet, and the military set their sights on a fleet during the Battle of Exegol. As pointed out by a Twitter user, someone among the Resistance used the Holdo Maneuver to take out a Star Destroyer stationed above the forest moon of Endor. This vessel could be seen with half with a bright white light indicating light speed was included or involved. And you can see right here, if we open this in a new tab, we'll go ahead and zoom in on it a little bit. So you guys can see it does, unlike all of the other Star Destroyers that are showed destroyed during this last little sequence where they're just kind of burning and falling to the ground, this one very clearly is split in half with the same style that the Holdo Maneuver was, which lends me to think that this is actually true. They actually did this for some freaking reason, and I just don't quite understand why, but seems to be the case. Before the Holdo Maneuver was used during the climactic battle, Beaumont Kin suggested using the attack against the Sith fleet, but it was deemed as a 1 in a million shot at working. You can hear right here.
We need to pull some Holdo maneuvers. Do some real damage.
Come on, that move is 1 in a million.
Someone obviously took it upon themselves to try the risky move in a last-ditch effort and wound up defying the odds. It's because it's not a 1 in a million shot. It's literally you're just aiming at someone and clicking light speed. Like, that's the problem. And that's why, at the end of the day, although there's an argument going on whether Last Jedi is worse, whether Rise of Skywalker is worse, Last Jedi put us down this path, and I think Last Jedi does more damage overall to Star Wars because it put us in this place. Rise of Skywalker is the worst movie, to be quite honest with you. Rise of Skywalker is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life, regardless of whether it's a Star Wars movie or not. But The Last Jedi had so many little things just like this that break Star Wars. Force Ghosts interacting with things. Things like that are, when you go back and you look at every single thing that's ever happened in Star Wars, you have to rethink it. That's what Rian Johnson did to Star Wars, and we heard him talk about it. He doesn't care about continuity. He doesn't care about canon. He doesn't care about what came before. All he cares about is his story that he wants to tell at that moment, which explains why we have things like the Holdo Maneuver. The use of the tactic was also a clever nod to the former Vice Admiral, considering her courageous act inspired the rest of the Resistance to continue fighting. We've gone over and over how stupid it was for her to not let anyone in on what was going on, and the way she acted doesn't make any sense at all. Had this Resistance member not used the Holdo Maneuver, Endor could have been destroyed. The scene wasn't only a nod to the Resistance, but a callback to Endor's involvement in taking down the Galactic Empire. And yes, Wicket Warwick was there, could be seen watching the destruction. It is a surprise cameo in The Rise of Skywalker. Many viewers have been focused on Wicket's return to the point they completely missed the second successful Holdo Maneuver. And I'll go ahead and show right here a little bit of that video that shows the difference between this Star Destroyer that goes down seemingly on Bespin, the Star Destroyer that's over Endor, like you can see, definitely looks like it's been split in half, and then the Star Destroyer that crashes down in Jakku. We don't get any explanation on why those things are happening. We don't see any battles, and I haven't seen anything from the Rise of Skywalker novel as of yet that would confirm that. I am looking, though, and if it turns out that for some reason this ship is split in half in the exact way that the Holdo Maneuver is used for a completely different reason, then I'll let you guys know that evidently this article and I was wrong. But definitely seems suspect at this time. And the idea that you would go and you would go ahead and say, hey, The Last Jedi was stupid. This is why we're saying it's a 1 in a million shot. That's why we can't use it. And then go ahead and use it in a random cutaway shot for like 3 seconds makes zero sense. But unfortunately, that's what Star Wars is now. It's something that doesn't make any sense at all. And regardless of what anyone wants to say, in stories like this, you need to have rules. You need to have boundaries for there to be any stakes. For instance, things like Force Ghosts interacting with objects. When that happens, there are no stakes for being dead. What is the difference for Luke Skywalker now that he's dead, if he can still interact with everything? Doesn't make any sense. But again, Disney Star Wars for you. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. The idea that they actually used the Holdo Maneuver at Endor when specifically stating in this movie that you couldn't use the Holdo Maneuver because it's a 1 in a million shot. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.